right? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
Cool deal. I didn't know we were supposed to have drinks, but luckily I have a mini fridge right behind me, so I quickly ran over and got a beer, and I wasn't sure if I'd be back in time, but I made it. Drinking the Founders All Day IPA right there. Oh, I'm not supposed to product promote. I'm not product promoting.
I was gonna say, if the people that if this beer company was paying me, I'd have it in their bottle and not mine. But if a very popular brewery in St. Louis wants to sponsor this show, we can set up the links.
There you go. One
more social, we'll get to it because I'm just thirsty.
Yep. Well, I'll drink with you. I was thinking I should pour some of that whiskey in here and make a Boilermaker, but no, I don't want to go through that. No, I'd have to open up the bottle and do all that. That's all right.
All right, man. Well, when did you get into music? This is a pretty generic question. I've got generic questions. We'll go off on different tangents, I'm sure.
All right. Well, I guess it was 7th, 8th grade. I went and I think I took a trip to Mexico, and I came back and I was like, I want to play Spanish guitar, and that was too hard, so I took to the blues pretty quickly and just kind of played blues through high school and was the weird kid who liked old music and was made fun of for it. But you know what? Who's cool now for liking retro stuff? I don't know. When you have to say who's cool now, you're definitely not cool. So,
so you were in Mexico and there was just somebody up there playing guitar. You said,
I don't know. I just kind of liked the culture, and they. You would hear that sort of, even though it was Mexico and it was Spanish guitar, that kind of flamenco influence. But I came back and I wanted to play guitar for some reason. I had also seen Marty McFly do it in Back to the Future, and I wanted to be that cool too. So I started playing. And I think one of the first songbooks I got was Eric Clapton Unplugged. And I learned every single song from Eric Clapton Unplugged. And that's when I learned that if I play Tears in Heaven, the girls all swoon. So then that added an extra layer of why I wanted to continue down that path of playing music. And then I guess it was probably, I was playing guitar. And then it was like my third year in college, I started playing upright bass to keep scholarships. That was a weird reason why I played upright bass, but kind of the short of it was the University of Tennessee kind of gave me the big orange screw, and I was they kept me for an extra year in college. Their mistake. I lost my internship because of UT, and I was so mad. I went up to the chancellor's office and I was like, "Hey, you gave me a bad advisor, and now I've lost my internship. I have to spend a whole extra year in college." And they were like, "Oh yeah, we did mess up." So they picked up half of my tuition for all the scholarships that I lost. UT paid for, and then in order to keep my remaining scholarships, I just had to take random classes. And so one of the classes I took was an upright bass class, and so I was like, I stuck with it, and it ended up being one of the most beneficial things of me going to college. It was that one class that I was just taking for poops and giggles.
Man, well, I mean, the upright, it's such a great spectacle. You can ride it, you can stand it, which you do.
Yeah.
You stand on it. I've seen you play it behind your head.
Yeah.
How much does that weigh?
It's not. That doesn't weigh much. I've never weighed it. I don't know, but it's big enough to where I can kick it in the air and spin it around. It's light enough and play it behind my head. And I haven't stood on it in probably about 5 years or something. But that's why I make my guitarist stand on it now for me.
If you haven't watched the Wackity Doo video, there was a clip of them where Mateus stands on the bass and falls off. I guess he's supposed to be drunk.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part of the video.
Oh, I love
he just
doing
falls
that one
backwards.
Yeah. The only time he's ever fallen off the bass. Of course, it was planned for that video,
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Well, you've done really great things. You are you still the $1 Million Quartet? Is that?
No, $1 Million Quartet ended in when was that? 2016 they ended. That's right. I kind of it was about 2016. I sensed that the show would be ending. I just saw the writing on the wall in Vegas. Vegas was changing. Broadway shows were kind of on the outs. The producers came in and said, "Hey guys, we might be cutting the number of shows per week," and we, I just there were things happening. So I was up for a contract renewal, and I was like, "I'm out. I'll see you." I had a good, run for. I did it for 3 years out there, but it was a week after I left the show that the producers came in and said, "Hey, we're ending the show, everybody." And I was like, "Woo, boy, I made the right call," But we had our album called Poker All Night Long coming out, anyways. So I timed it for my exit from $1 Million Quartet to coincide with the release of that album. And as soon as I moved back to Tennessee within days, I met our new guitarist, Mr. Mateus Canteri from Brazil. He flew up from Brazil for that tour because our old guitarist was going to stay in Vegas, and he has been playing with us ever since for about 4.5 years. I can't believe it's been that long, actually.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah. I count my blessings every day that I get to know that guy, I get to play with him.
Yeah. So how did Royal Hounds come together?
Well, it was it was 2011, so it was 10 years ago, and early January. So we just kind of hit the 10-year anniversary. I don't really count the 10-year anniversary until June, which would have been our first gig. But I had actually, in that December, I had been at a Christmas party, and there was just kind of this jam, and I hauled in my upright bass and started jamming out with some of the musicians. One of them was our old drummer, Scott Billingsley. And so a few weeks later, I was going to see a band, and he was there too, and he came up to me and he's like, "Hey, do you want to form a band?" And I was like, "Yes, but I have a very specific idea of what kind of band I want to be in. I want it to be weird and different than anything that's out there." So we had our first rehearsal, and we started working up top 40 covers. But and I was like, this isn't really what I'm kind of looking for. We were working up Brick House and Stevie Ray Vaughan, which I love Brick House and I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. But I was like, this is what every other band in Knoxville is doing, So we kind of redirected and started doing some, weird, obscure. Back then, we were really doing, a lot of rockabilly and country songs and then, so we just kind of formed a band, and it took us, like 6 months to get a gig. I was like hitting the pavement forever because everybody thought you guys are too weird. This won't work, And so it was about 6 months before someone gave us a shot, and I was just bound and determined. I was like, all right, it took me 6 months. Nobody believed in me. You're going to believe in us now. We're going to put on the best dang show this town has ever seen. And so that was my driving impetus behind the band.
I've certainly had fun with you guys.
It's a fun group. It's definitely different. We're definitely not a top 40 cover band sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said rockabilly because I've been describing you as rockabilly, and I was hoping that wasn't wrong. That was accurate.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The band actually started out hardcore rockabilly band, but I guess through the years I've kind of skewed a little different to where our last few albums, I think the last actual rockabilly song that we had was on our second album called and the song was Elvis is Haunting My Bathroom, but it's really kind of this weird. We're a little more kind of honky tonk now, and some maybe kind of swamp funk sort of stuff, but with an upright bass. So when you have an upright bass and you're a 3-piece, it doesn't matter if you're doing Gregorian chants. Everyone says you're rockabilly, but I'm like, whatever, we're just doing the music that moves me, and so I think it hopefully moves the audience.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Just. There's some of the faces you make when you play alone.
Yeah, it's just natural. I'm not sitting up on stage thinking, what face should I make next? No, it's just kind of, you know.
Oh, I love watching you. That's one of the things I love to watch about you.
Yeah,
Great.
It's just me having fun, you know.
Yeah. So, where all have you played? I know you guys have been to Brazil.
Yeah.
Have you toured Europe? I think
Yeah,
I think I read that.
We've done 3 Europe tours, actually. Been to Brazil. I want to go back to Brazil so badly. I've been learning Portuguese for the past 2 years, and I figure when I get through the end of my Duolingo entire language lesson, which will probably be another 3 years, then that's gonna be my reward to myself as another trip to Brazil. You know, so hopefully, you know, next time I go, I can be fluent. You know. So I don't know. We'll see.
What's your favorite performance?
Oh man, my favorite performance.
I love this one.
Yeah. I back in 20 there were 2, or I guess there were 2. 2013, we were playing the downtown Knoxville St. Patty's Day Festival, and it was my first time playing in front of like thousands of people. It was just this big event, and it was just like a thrill to get out there and just like go nuts on stage and just for tons of people. And then my other one, we were playing at a festival back in 2017, I think, called the Rhythm and Blooms Festival in Knoxville. And it was special for a few reasons. It was we were up there. We got scheduled 3 different stages over the course of this festival. It was over 3-4 days, but we were up on the main stage, and our guitarist Mateos's family had flown into America for the first time to come see him perform. And I know that in Brazil, I don't want to speak for him or anything, but kind of the impression I've gotten is in Brazil, I don't know if they appreciate how great of a guitarist he is. It's like, country chicken picking shredding goes over as well down there as being an amazing bossa nova player goes over here in America. So when he was down in Brazil, he was playing maybe like 2 gigs a year. And when he came to America and people clapped after one of his guitar solos, he was thrown back. He was like, what? People clap for a guitar solo? What, because people don't clap for guitar solos down there. And so to play at this festival and being on the main stage with this real big audience for this big downtown Knoxville festival, but to have his family being up in America and getting to see him playing on that environment and seeing the reaction of the crowd to his playing was just a really special moment. I'm certain for him, but it was a really special moment for me as well to get to see that play out for him and for his family, so I'd say that was also one of my favorite gigs.
That's awesome too, man. I mean, metal's big. Isn't metal big in Brazil? Metal's real big.
Yeah, he started out as a metal shredder. And I mean, you can definitely hear it in his playing, and I mean, he's and our drummer too. I mean, he's a metal guy too, so I'm the odd man out. So they'll talk about, Iron Maiden and stuff. And I never listened to any Iron Maiden before sitting in a tour van with those guys. And I got to say, I'm not into metal, but Iron Maiden's kind of cool. I mean, having zero knowledge of them, they don't sound like what I thought they would have sounded like, Yeah.
Here's the counter question. What's your least favorite performance?
Oh man.
And I love that reaction.
Oh gosh.
I asked the question.
Least favorite performance. There's one that's jumping out at me. We were playing at Tin Roof in Cincinnati, and it was just like compounding one thing after the other. Like the sound. First of all, I'm sorry, Tin Roof, but we never had good experiences with playing at any Tin Roof, and so it was like the crowds just. No matter what songs we played, they didn't understand that we didn't know Beyonce or Toby Keith or anything, and so we already had like an audience that was ticked off because we didn't play music that they knew. But then we had a situation where like a server got into it with someone who drove in 2 hours to come see us or something, and then the sound guy dialed us in and then left, and so it was like feeding back, but the sound system was locked behind a glass closet and there was nothing we could do. And then finally at the end of the night, and I am not this kind of person, I got in kind of a fight with a policeman because I was just loading out gear. The street was shut down to be for pedestrians, and I asked one police officer, can I move my van up there and load in my gear? And they were like, yeah, sure. So I get all the gear on the sidewalk, and then they move the pedestrian, they open it up as a road, and immediately this other police officer comes running up, you gotta get out of here now. And I already was kind of having a rough night, and I was like, but this other police officer said I could. No, you gotta get out of here. But and I was done. I was done. And I was like, let me move this gear. So it was just not a good night.
What's your favorite Royal Hounds song to play?
Oh man, it seems to change with every album. You know,
I get that.
yeah. Let's see. I was always partial from our first album. There was a song called "I'm in Love with a Zombie" because that first album we were really just trying to be a rockabilly band. And, you know, I don't think that rockabilly songs, after doing them, you know, too long, it becomes a little boring, you know. But so on that album, you know, most of the songs were rockabilly, but I'm in Love with a Zombie was this it was a Latin song, and I was listening to the Buena Vista Social Club a lot at the time when I wrote that one. And so I think it was the first time that as a writer, I kind of found my voice, and I figured out who the Royal Hounds were meant to be. That we weren't necessarily meant to just do rockabilly. We were meant to branch out and do Latin stuff and Russian circus music and swamp funk and stuff that does not sound like, you know, that kind of rockabilly sort of stuff, you know? And so I think of all the songs on that first album, that's the one that really was telling of what we would sound like in the future. We have music all over Spotify. In fact, if you go on there and you subscribe to the Royal Hounds, we're doing this thing currently where we're releasing a new cover song every Friday on there. 19 actually. And I know it's not good to talk about COVID, but the album that we're releasing is called Covered 19. Hence 19 covers, you know. So after those 19 songs come out, we're just going to compile them all into one album called Covered 19. But that's really the thing that kind of helped us get through this past year, is having a project so that we can focus on, so that we're not all sitting at home depressed that all the gigs have dried up, you know. So
right.
Yeah.
Are you playing somewhere at all?
Yeah. So and we've been very, very lucky because, you know, in 2019, before all the stuff went down, we were practically living on the road. You know, I mean, we were out there every week playing 4 or 5 dates a week, and I was coming home on Mondays and Tuesdays, and but then when you know, when all this stuff kind of went down this past year, it's just, you know, you just can't be out on the road. So fortunately, we're in Nashville, and we have weekly gigs. We play every Wednesday night at a place called Layla's, and right next door we play at Robert's Western World, which is I'm very grateful for, because that's a world-renowned honky tonk. I mean, it's just, you know, it's hard to get in there, and we were invited once. You know, we didn't even like try to beat down the door. They actually approached us and asked us if we wanted to play there, which I'm eternally grateful for. I wish we had a consistent night that I could say we play every Sunday at Robert's Western World, but with COVID right now, the schedules change from week to week, so it's been, you know, kind of inconsistent. But, you know, that's how it goes.
I mean, that's pretty big, right? Layla's is big. I've been in Layla's, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of you watching, which we do have. You got an audience right now. I know you can't see this like I can.
Yeah.
You do have an audience right now, and I know you guys go to Nashville. I know, you know, and if you do on a Wednesday night, definitely go into Layla's and see the Royal Hounds with Scott here.
Yeah, if you go see us at Roberts, you're going to get more of the honky-tonk side of us. If you go see us at Layla's, you'll get still the honky-tonk side, but we throw in a little more rock and roll in there. We can kind of flex our muscles a little bit more and get a little louder and rowdier.
The last album was low-class songs for high-class people. When was that released?
That was released in, oh goodness, when was that? That was a year and a half ago. Yeah, so 2019. That's right. It's all kind of running together now, you know. And we just not only did we record that Covered 19 album last year, but we were just in the studio at the beginning of January recording the next album. You know, we're just trying to stay as busy as possible, making sure that the Royal Hounds are surviving through all this. So we're probably going to release that next album, and that's originals. That's all originals. It's going to come out probably the latter half of this year, maybe around September, October, somewhere in there.
So are you still recording?
Nope, right now? Fully recorded. It's being mixed right now. And so we're probably gonna sit on it and wait on it because there's a Christmas song on it. We want that Christmas song to kind of hit at the right time of year. It's I'm very proud of that one. It's about the night that Chris Christopherson saved Christmas, and it's called Christmas Stofferson.
I love it, man. Well, before we wrap this up, you've had a lot of changes this last couple of years. I've noticed like there's something different about your left hand.
About my left hand. Oh, that. I was like, I literally put it into frame and I was like, what is, and I saw myself on the screen and I was like, oh, that, yes, that is an addition. That I got married, luckily it was October of 2019 before all this went down, because man, all the work that we put into, especially my wife put into planning that wedding. I can't imagine people who were planning a wedding and then had to cancel everything. How awful must that have been? But we got married. We just had a baby 3 weeks ago, our first child, little Rose Sue Dolly. Dolly for Dolly Parton.
Right on, man. Is there anything you like to share with everybody before we wrap this up?
I think the audience. Yeah, right now our main focus is Spotify. So go over there and just hit follow, and then you'll get a free song every Friday. I mean, you just can't beat that, you know? So, and it's so easy. Free song every Friday.
Do you have a favorite bad joke?
Oh yeah. I want to think of a short bad joke. And a lot of my favorite jokes I don't know if I can say on here.
Yeah.
All right. I can say it?
Yeah.
All right. This is a joke that my uncle told me probably when I was 13. So this is really bad. I apologize, everybody. This is terrible. So there is this guy. His name is Pierre. He is a French fighter pilot, and he's making out with his woman, and so he's kissing her, and she's like, oh, kiss me more, Pierre. And so he reaches over and he grabs some white wine and he dips his fingers in, he smushes it all over her lips, and he dives right in, and she's like, oh, Pierre, oh, what, that was wonderful, you're such a great kisser, but why the red wine? Oh, I am Pierre, the French fighter pilot. I always have red wine with my red meat. She's like, oh, that's so beautiful. Lower. So he rips open her blouse, and he reaches over and he grabs some white wine and he splashes it on her chest, and he goes, rah, rah, rah. And she's like, oh, Pierre, oh, that's wonderful, but why the white wine? I am Pierre, the French fighter pilot. I always have white wine with my white meat. And she's like, oh, that's wonderful. Oh, Pierre, lower. So he goes down, he takes off her pants and he reaches over and he picks up a lighter and he sets her on fire. And she's like, Pierre, what the hell are you doing? I am Pierre, the French fighter pilot. When I go down in flames. Thank you. Since you mentioned it, we are giving away that cover 19 album for free. They can just go to the royalhounds.com/19 and they can just download all 19 covers right there. I've already paid for all the rights for them, so they can just have them, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you again. And be sure to royalhounds.com. Royal Hounds, YouTube Royal Hounds. You've got the customized name, and subscribe to Undergroundopolis. And everybody have a good night. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Scott.
See you guys. Bye.
Been great.